Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mortgage and Real Estate Podcast. My name is Chris Giannino, and today I am joined by my brother-in-law and business partner, Bill Lally. And, Pete Giannino, he should be joining us here shortly. And we also have Tan Nguyen. Tan is a man of many talents and skills. Needs no introduction because many people know him around town, but I give him an introduction anyways. Tan, Bill, what's up, gentlemen? Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
Tan, your son?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's my first podcast.
How you been?
I'm good.
What have you been up to?
That's a difficult question to answer. I don't know. Since the pandemic, things have just been an absolute roller coaster. Mostly for the good, but still currently dealing with some challenges. But just what I do now is completely different than what I was doing like 3 years ago.
What are you doing now?
So I am a full-time. You can think of me as like one of those entitled influencers. I'm on TikTok, and I do a lot of live streams, but that's what I do full-time, just content creating on social media platforms.
Are you being paid from the advertisements from TikTok? It's like monetized?
Yeah, so that's one stream. Doesn't pay that well, but it's mostly working with brands. So people, hey, we got this cool telescope. We want you to have it. We want you to promote it, or we want you to make some videos for it. Mostly that. It's UGC or user-generated content, but I make a lot of money on live streams. So just as a really pretty woman would go on camera and get gifts for showing stuff, I show astronomy, and that's how I get a lot of my donations. I'm chasing the milk on TikTok, and it just means I'm chasing the Milky Way. 3 years ago when I started the TikTok account, I was like, okay, well, here's just another app, just like Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, whatever. I'm going to waste some time on it. And there's a lot of layers to the TikTok platform because it's unlike any other platform that I've ever worked with. But in short, I've never been able to build a community on any other platform. It was really tough to find like-minded people that really liked what I was doing. On TikTok, for whatever reason, I learned the algorithm, and I also paid a little bit of money to do some masterminds, but I really learned how it worked. And just to give you an example, I think the first maybe 3 months of TikTok, I got 1,000 followers. And at the time, I was like, wow, there's 1,000 people that actually care about what I'm saying. And I started studying other creators and what they were doing and how to grow. And I formulated my own little template, if you will. And then now, 3 years later, we're at 920,000 followers, which is pretty crazy.
All about astronomy?
All about astronomy.
Pictures?
Yeah, it's such a niche thing. You don't think people would like this stuff, but I think what I leveraged was mostly there was a lot of uncertainty this past couple of years. And I think a lot of people were kind of figuring out what they wanted to do. You hear about people discovering new hobbies and new passions or quitting their jobs. And a lot of the people fell into this, that were part of that, they realized they liked astronomy. So, for example, one of the things I mainly stream is the moon. So I will show the craters on the moon through my telescope. Now, you have people from all over the world coming in here like, yo, what's up? And they get to see this. A lot of first-timers. And for them, I think it's an eye-opening experience, and that's kind of the whole point, is to inspire people to look up. So it's more than astronomy. It's more of just here's how crazy the world is, and this is a nice little escape.
Right, out of this world.
Just for a little bit.
Right. Now, you're taking photos through a telescope.
That's one way of doing it. There's so many different levels. So, for example, when I started teaching Milky Way photography. So your standard DSLR camera and a tripod. You just go out somewhere dark and take photos. On the live streams, everything's visual, so everything's real time. We're not taking any photos, so I can show like the moon or planets real time.
Through the telescope?
Yeah, like I can show the rings on Saturn through a telescope, and people are coming in from all over the world looking at it. But at the time, TikTok was still kind of, I'm not going to say new, because I still think I was a little late to the game, but it was newer, and no one was doing these streams. I still think I was the first one on TikTok to do it, and now we've built this community where there are tons of other astronomers that do the same thing, and it's awesome. We need more. But at the time, no one was doing it, and I just thought, how crazy would it be if I just like I love looking at the moon. Let me just see what happens on TikTok. And I remember the first live stream I did. It was so scary. There was like 5 people in there. Like, I don't know, just 5 people. And I'm freaking out. I'm having a panic attack. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome in. We're in Missouri, and we're looking at the moon. And it was the most fun I had. But fast forward, one of my craziest streams, we did a lunar eclipse, and had 10,000 people in there. 10,000 people. And I'm just sitting there like, what's up, guys? And it was so wild. But I guess to answer your question, I think it was just right timing. I was the first one to do it, and I also happened to really figure out how the algorithm works. So, for example, I would say I have 3 different ways of posting, and I'm going to try all 3 of them, and I'm going to see which one performs the best. Okay, I noticed that B worked really good, so let me double down on that. And next thing you know, the moment I realized that I had figured it out, or at least at the time, was when I went from, I had 20,000 followers on TikTok, right? And 20,000 is a lot for me at the time. In 1 week, I got up to 200,000. I slept very little that week, but I was grinding so hard on pushing out content, and I also was pushing out the lives because it helped the algorithm. So it was just a combination of everything, and I think it was just really good timing.
And the lives are pushed up
Yeah.
to the top, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you have this momentum. Let's say you have a video go viral, and that was actually that's what happened. My first video that went viral, it was a very
Bird's Nest.
That was a good one. But for astronomy, it was just a video of me showing what Saturn looked like through a telescope. It was like maybe an 8-second video, horrible quality, but it's got over 19 million views. And immediately after posting that, when I did the live streams, I noticed having, going from 200 to 300 people in the lives to thousands. And I knew this was it. I'm like, I'm in heat. Like, I got to keep going. So
It's huge. I mean, anytime there is clear pictures and video, first of all, it's intriguing of how is that being done. There's a lot of different technological aspects that you're incorporating together, which is amazing and kind of unseen with a lot of just typical, doing a dance or whatnot. But let me ask you, when the balloon was over us, you remember the balloon, the China balloon? Did you get any footage of that?
no, my friend did. He got a really cool photo.
Just a photo?
Yeah, it was really cool. He ended up making it on Fox, but I personally didn't get it. No.
Because I was wondering who took that photo, because it was Missouri.
Yeah, it was my friend. It was probably
your
my
buddy?
friend Tyler. Yeah, it was a really clear one.
Unbelievable photo.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing photo.
Yeah. He
And
blew up.
He destroyed everyone's photo.
He did.
And it said, this is a photographer from Missouri. And I was like, that's got to be tan. It's got to be tan.
A close friend of mine.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that was helpful for a lot of people. It showed, really what that was. Because talk about weirdness and
Yeah.
kind of not knowing what's going on. The world, we're kind of in that state still, of course.
Yeah.
But the photos we were getting were really just like a ball of light before that, and then when that one came, I was like, that's solar powered. Like that's
pretty good.
That's a legit device there up in the sky.
Yeah.
Huge, so good for him. So that went on Fox. Did he get paid for that?
I'm sure he did. He was texting me overnight. He's like, dude, I've gotten so many emails. He's like, I've gotten all these agencies, excuse me, wanting to get the license for it. I'm like, man, you deserve it. Because that's what happened when I got the Bird's Nest video. So real quick to everyone listening, the first time I ever had a video go viral was this a time lapse of a snake just eating a bunch of eggs. And I posted it not knowing that it would go viral. But basically, once it got on Reddit, once it got on the front page of the internet, it was just an influx of emails and everyone wanting to get their hands on this video. So I'm sure he was experiencing like a lot of dopamine. And, yeah.
How clear can you get? Like, have you filmed the International Space Station?
Pretty clear. So I've gotten, excuse me, 2. They're called transits. It's whenever the ISS passes a celestial object. So in this case, I photographed it crossing over the moon and the sun. There are apps and software where you can track where the ISS is going to be. So you spend weeks planning for an event that took about maybe less than a second because I'll show you a video after, but it happens really fast. So I set up all my stuff and I'm pointed at the sun and also the moon, different times. But that's what you do. You sit there and you're kind of just patiently waiting, and you're using the atomic clock. All right. So as soon as it gets down to like a certain window, you just hit record and you pray that you're in focus. And it's pretty clear. It's pretty awesome.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I know that you're a busy man and you have a lot going on, but you were talking about also doing hopefully a workshop at our west location for Pinnacle here. Tell me a little bit about what you are planning on doing.
Yeah. This place is perfect. So one of the biggest things, a dream of mine throughout this journey of astronomy was like, I felt like I could do more. I really like doing outreach. I love talking to people, but I wanted to get more intimate. And a good friend of mine did workshops in Utah. So he did this on a much larger scale. So people would come out there, fly out to Utah, and the package was you spend X amount of money, and then for 4 nights, we get to go out and stargaze every single night and take photos, and I show you how to edit them, and that's basically it. I want to do that. And I got to do 3 of them, and it was a totally dream come true to be able to have actual students out in Utah, some of the darkest skies in North America, and to be able to do what I love.
Moab. What part were you in?
Moab's cool. We were in Kanab, yeah. But so in short, I want to be able to teach, and I think out here would be perfect because it's not too much light. You don't need to be super like 4 hours out in the country, but just to get away from the city lights, and out here would be pretty
Wildwood.
cool. Yeah. It's
a good place.
Yeah. It'd be fun. We just need somewhere safe. That's the biggest thing, is finding somewhere safe to do it, because when you're out there at 2 in the morning, you really don't want to run into anyone.
Right. I mean, I've seen your photos are incredible. I was really happy to see that you were doing that. And
thanks, man.
Yeah, I think it's perfect, and way better than I could ever imagine you getting photos of some really, really cool things. Have you witnessed any? I know there's a lot of talk, more talk about unidentified UFOs and
UAPs.
Yes. What's your experience? Have you noticed lights or orbs or things like that?
Sure. This is funny you asked me this, because this is the number one question I get on my live streams all the time. With that, every single live stream, I can almost guarantee someone's going to ask that, or show me the flag. So UFOs or UAPs.
Show me the flag. That's funny. Yeah. On the moon? You mean?
Yeah. I've seen. We'll call it a UFO. I'm not insinuating that it was anything. For me, I just don't know what it was. But it was out in St. Peter's.
Sounds like an insinuation.
Sounds like you believe in aliens.
Let me put on my tinfoil hat. It was about, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm driving off of 94, and there was this formation of triangle lights. Lights that formed a triangle, okay? Now, at the time, I was driving, and my ex was in the passenger, and I was like, babe, I'm like, is that one craft or is that multiple? And we couldn't make out. It was so far away. And she's like, I can't really tell, but the lights were really low on the ground, and where we were, it probably would have been really weird for any craft to be that low. So I started speeding. I'm driving around 90. I'm trying to catch up with this thing. It's a triangle. It was a very clear triangle. The lights weren't any colored, but I still don't know if it was one craft or 8. Anyways, I recorded it, so it's another crappy UFO video.
Right.
You just,
right, another one of those.
Just another one of those.
Why can't we get a clear one?
Exactly. It's 2023 and everything looks like poop. But anyways,
there's been some clear ones. But.
That's been my only experience. I have not had I haven't seen any
local.
aliens.
St. Peter's.
Yeah.
So do you think it's the triangle one?
Yeah.
With the 3 lights?
It looked like there was 8 lights.
Okay. But it was a
huge triangle.
A big triangle.
Either a big triangle or 8 mini Cessnas. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
So other than that, I wish I had a crazy alien coming out of a crater or something.
I mean, when I look at, if I'm looking at the telescope in the sky, though, you see a lot of things flash by. Tons, right? Are those primarily satellites? Are they,
Yeah.
It seems to me that they're satellites.
That's a really good question. So the average person we don't look up.
You don't see it.
We
You don't see it even if you
Don't look up.
even if you did look up, though. You don't see what you see.
Kind of. It depends on the skies too. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're like in the heart of St. Louis and you decide that one night you want to go out and look at the sky, you probably won't see much. Versus if you were to go out to like a conservation area, somewhere way away from the lights. I'm talking 2 hours out, right? You can see the Milky Way. Then
Carlisle Lake.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Carlisle Lake. Unbelievable stars. Carlisle.
You start to see more satellites. You see a lot of more meteors. You start to see weird flashes. You see a lot, like even clusters and galaxies.
Yeah.
Just because there's gonna be a lot of gurus to say you have to post 3 times a day, or you have to do this at 8 o'clock. I don't believe in that, because I tried posting shit at stuff at like 4 in the morning. I tried posting it at 3 in the afternoon. Doesn't matter.
Did you try 8?
Ooh, yeah. I tried it all, man, and it doesn't matter. I think the biggest, if I were to answer this correctly, I think the biggest thing for a content creator is to find a balance. Because just to be super transparent, social media definitely drugged me into like a really, really dark part of my life that I'm still kind of like struggling to get out. And what I mean is, when content creation is a full-time job, meaning you have pressures to put out stuff. There's people that are waiting on you to put out stuff. It's a lot of pressure, and sometimes this leads to blocks. So a good example, I haven't been active. There was a time where I wasn't on it for about like 4 months or something. Probably, people probably forgot. And then I get in these spurts where I come back and, I'm feeling energized again, and I'm creating. If you find a balance, and I'm starting to figure it out, you can be happy creating at any schedule you want. So I like posting once every couple days. I think my last post was 2 days ago. But it's important to find a balance. It's really easy to get in this routine of wanting to put out stuff on a consistent thing. I guess if I were to give you like a nug as a content creator, when you're feeling creative, see if you can batch content. See if you can put out like 10 or 20, whatever videos that your body can mentally is capable of. Put it in a folder, and then on the days where you feel crappy, like, I've got this video saved from whatever, I'm going to post this. That has helped me immensely, because before I was just putting out stuff just to put out stuff. And it made me pretty unhappy, man. Even with like close to 1 million followers, I was unhappy. And I think a lot of creators deal with that, but there's really no like rule book about this. We're in such a new age that we're kind of figuring it out as we go along. So find a balance.
I know exactly, I've been there many times, and sometimes it's the mentality. It's kind of like Hamilton. He's writing like he's running out of time. It's almost a mentality of, I got to get this out now, because it turns off. The creative juices turn off. When you're enjoying what you're doing, when you have that, man, all you want to do is that. And there's a feeling formula of energy that creates that perfect flow of the energetic juices towards one topic, and you can just kill it. But when that's gone, it's not just 1 + 1 = 2 to get back there. It's just gone until it comes back. That's it.
Yeah.
Writer's
sure.
block. That's why that is kind of with the Federalist Papers from Hamilton. I mean, they wrote 81 incredible papers called the Federalist Papers, because they were so engaged in this freedom of America. And he wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote to educate everybody on the different types of government that we could possibly start, and what a sacrifice, that was for this nation. But there was always that talk. This guy is literally writing like he is running out of time, but he knew, like, this is going to go away. I mean, you can't sustain it, So, yeah, that's fantastic. It's hard to come up with something creative and not put it out right away, though. I mean, that's tough, So
yeah.
Hats off to you for being able to come up with that idea. So, but yeah, we go through the same thing with business. We'll post and post and post and post and post. and love it, and we're in it, and there's just times where you got to step away, and you got to clear your mind, or figure out a better way to balance what you're doing. So what's in your understanding? What would be the fear that our government would have with TikTok?
So I don't have any fears of that. You've already heard this before, but a lot of the stuff that TikTok does, it's no different from what Google or Facebook is doing, and
Agreed.
They're not going to ban it. So I know this is two totally different platforms, but just picture this. Let's say you use LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever social media platform you use primarily. Just pick that one. And if one day they said that, okay, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you're using, it's a threat to national security, we're just going to remove it. Imagine the pushback that you would feel. You're like, I've spent my whole whatever using this app.
It would be massive, right?
So there's going to be massive pushback. I don't think it's going to be banned. If anything, it would go to maybe different ownership. But here's what I really think is happening, especially when we had the bank closed down. That was the SV.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So aside from TikTok, who are the main media guys that you can think of?
Twitter.
Okay, Twitter, Facebook, Google. All right. All these, like Instagram is a big one. Instagram is it's comical because they're trying so hard to make it work, but it's
which is Facebook.
Yeah, they're dying. And guess where people are putting their attention to?
TikTok.
Because of short form content. Where do you think Instagram Reels came from? TikTok. YouTube Shorts.
Oh, it's on
TikTok.
every platform now.
TikTok started this shorts trend, right? And now they're actually going backwards and doing long form. But to answer your question is, TikTok is taking everyone's money. Silicon Valley, like people don't care about consuming their money. So what's the easiest way to get back in the game? Just to get rid of your competitor.
Right.
Well, it's not owned by America.
Right.
That's the difference.
So you
between
can't.
that and the other
So
platforms.
the government can't bully them
Exactly.
and censor it, and they could censor. Chi
Yeah.
could censor. He could tell. What to put on there, or what to have the highest on the algorithms, or whatever.
Yeah, it's very true. Real quick, so one thing I've noticed on TikTok right now is because it's all over everyone's feed is just everyone's voicing their opinions, and the one thing I will say is that on TikTok there are a lot of people use TikTok as like a news source. All right, just like you would do your
It's more
own,
trustworthy.
Yeah, and well that could go both ways. Just like anything else, you really got to do your DD there.
They use all social networks as news platforms.
Right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they are.
But there's a lot on TikTok that I think people aren't finding elsewhere. So it's I think people feel this certain comfort of, why am I learning about this on TikTok, but I don't hear it on the news, on the mainstream news. That's a big part too. I think I guess I don't want to get too political.
Well, no, it did help us open our eyes, especially with everything that Elon Musk has really shed the light on.
Yeah.
With how much the government is intertwined with the private sector and censorship.
Yeah.
Of all the way to with the elections, and to censor information that would have been helpful, had people known that. And they have that ability to do that with private U.S. companies. Then they don't have. But didn't China also, at one point, didn't they ban Facebook? Or they...
I don't know. I just know that they don't even use TikTok in their country.
I could see that, right?
And I'm not sure how everything's going to play out. Unfortunately, I think there's always going to be a level of censorship, as much as we don't want it to be. Whether you're left or right, I think I don't know. I think there's always going to be just an element of...
Is there advertisement with TikTok, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's paid advertisement for companies, just like anything?
Yeah. But it's hard to... I'm trying to explain TikTok to someone who's never used it. Everything is just so much more digestible. It's almost like... How I guess their algorithm of how they figure out what people want to see is so much different than everything else that I've been seeing. So, like my mom, for example, I didn't think she would ever use a social media app, but she spends a lot of hours to the point where I'm like, hey, Mom, it's probably not good that you're still on TikTok. But yeah, it doesn't matter what age you are. TikTok is a home for anyone.
The difference between the two governments and the types of with the business aspect is that China's idea is that those companies, everything is there to enhance the government. Everything.
Yeah.
And ours is supposed to be separated.
Yeah.
So when the government is using the private, sector to enhance their agenda,
yeah,
then it's pretty apparent that there's really no difference in the way that they're going about doing it. I do know that like Bitcoin for instance. I know you were a big fan of Bitcoin, huge. Hopefully still are. China at one point banned that.
Yeah.
And there's countries that ban that. Ultimately, they ban it because of control, the lack of.
Yeah.
So the fact, because that's the only argument that I hear. Really looking at Twitter, with Elon Musk running the show. I mean, they're that to me is like, it's got to be one of the most honest, straight up. Here's what's there. Here's what,
That's how it should be.
I don't know if it's growing. I don't know.
I mean, I know he just valued the company at $20 billion. He bought it for 40 something. He just did that.
Have you gotten verified
but
yet?
it is growing, and it's growing fast. It's growing. It's back to, like, I guess, growing quickly. But I think they did what's called Twitter Spaces, which I've never heard of until I just heard of it. But it's for podcasts, and it's on right when you get onto Twitter. You just hit this one button, and it shows all the podcasts that are available. Really cool, different, but podcasts on all these different subjects. And you just click on it, you start listening to the podcast.
Nice.
So that's a new thing that they have. It was amazing. It was an amazing podcast. So this probably will get more views than you've ever even imagined.
I'm excited. This is my first one. I've been wanting to do one for a while, and I was like, I don't know if I could talk for more than 30 seconds on the microphone, but here we are, 35 minutes. Yeah,
2 seconds.
Right,
and
it'll be great. I mean, it'll sound great, and we're incredibly thankful for you and everything.
Likewise, man.
Yeah, we've been friends and partners in crime for a long, long time, and
yeah,
great to see you.
We could do a whole month-long
Need that food?
on.
Yeah, I need to get some of those egg things that you had. Gosh, those were amazing.
The cream of some young guy.
Those were
I think
amazing.
you're talking about a different one. But
God,
I'm
those were
not sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's cool. I know you got to be somewhere. Thanks for coming in, Tan. William and Lally. Always
son.
a pleasure. And let's do this again real soon.
Yes, please.
Thanks for tuning in. Please like our page, follow it. The Mortgage and Real Estate Podcast by Pinnacle. Feel free to leave a review. We certainly would appreciate it. Checking out. We will see you next time.